Noisy Pixel. There are a ton of indie titles that have tried to capture the fun that the best 2D platformers of the 8-bit era had to offer. Unfortunately, rarely do these titles feel comparable to any of their classic influences. Sometimes the game is too drenched in nostalgia or linked so directly to a pre-existing title that it barely has an identity of its own. Luckily, Panzer Paladin by Tribute Games distinguishes itself with some unique gameplay mechanics while maintaining the strengths of what makes the genre a classic. In Panzer Paladin, you assume the role of Flame, a pilot who controls a mech suit known as a Paladin. Weapons have begun raining from portals in the sky, unleashing an army of the occult. The villain Ravenous has appointed various demons to lead the army in each region. It's up to you to defeat each demon and collect the weapons they hold to, hopefully to diminish the evil power. Gameplay begins with you inside the Paladin, but at any time you can jump out and play as the vulnerable Flame. While in the Paladin, you have a more vigorous defense as well as the ability to pick up and use weapon drops, but at the cost of speed. Outside of your Paladin, however, you can move faster and get into smaller areas, but have weaker attacks and defense. Some sections will require you to get out of your Paladin and traverse until you get to a mech transportation point. Still, you have the option to just play the whole level outside of your Paladin, making for an intense and completely different play experience. Both playstyles are exceptionally enjoyable, and whatever way you choose will offer challenges and varied experiences. While you're given a default attack in your Paladin, you can acquire weapons dropped by defeating enemies. Each weapon can be used as a melee attack, or thrown from a distance. Weapons won't last forever though, and will eventually break, forcing you to get new ones. This is rarely an issue though, as you can store a large number of weapons. This could have been a really tedious system, but Panzer Paladin streamlines it well by automatically arming yourself with the next weapon on your list to keep you from revisiting the weapon screen too much. Each weapon also offers a different ability, which you can execute by purposely breaking the weapon. These abilities range from offensive or defensive buffs to various health restoration. Bosses drop especially special weapons, but are just as susceptible to breaking. Weapons also vary in their attack range, making some platforming with enemies easier or trickier depending on what you decide to arm yourself with. There are over 100 different weapons you can collect across your journey. There's even an awesome weapon creation mode where you can custom make the appearance of your weapon and its attributes after you beat the game. In your Paladin, you can strike forward, upwards, and downwards. If you strike upwards, it will act as a slight double jump, making this a useful attack not only for enemies, but for more precarious platforming. Striking downward will allow you to pogo on top of enemies and breakable obstacles. Along with this, you are also given a backdash that quickly gets you out of strike range for an enemy, and timed right will give you a fraction of a second invulnerability to projectiles. Besides the intro and ending stages, you're allowed to select stages in any order you want. Each stage focuses on a different country around the world and features creatures of mythology and weapon drops relating to that region. It helps that every level has its own theme, which keeps things feeling fresh. I was initially worried how long Panzer Paladin would be, but it exceeded my expectations with 17 levels in total, each offering a decently sized stage. While some stages are definitely more difficult than others, each stage could be completed without any special power-ups or upgrades. Bosses are interesting to fight. There is a horseman mini-boss you come across a bit too often, but other than that, every level offers a boss with wildly different attacks and moves. Unlike some other games in the genre, there isn't one weapon that acts as a boss's Achilles heel. This is an approach I appreciated, as I felt like battles were more engaging than relying on playing a game in a specific order. Panzer Paladin's graphics look spot on with an 8-bit era game, but smooth cutscenes really remind you this is a newer title. The art design is inspired by 80s anime and is a perfect fit with the overall retro feeling. The soundtrack is also fantastic, marrying electric guitars with classic sound chips for some truly rocking tunes. Panzer Paladin is inspired heavily by retro 8-bit games, but it ends up setting itself apart with its own distinct identity and gameplay. The robust number of weapons and abilities you can experiment with creates a unique experience, whether you're piloting the Paladin or taking the level on foot. If that wasn't enough, the added bits of post-game content gives more than reason to get back in your mech and play again. Noisy Pixel gives Panzer Paladin a 9 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching! Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers who work hard to bring you news, reviews, previews, and more. Please subscribe to keep up with all our future content.